Good morning and welcome to Living Off Your Backyard. My name is Mark, and today I want to talk to you a little bit more about some of the seedlings that we have growing indoors right now. Right here I have is one of our eggplants. It's doing quite well, but the thing is, you can see is that we have two plants growing in one pot, and I held on to a few of these just to show you guys what we're going to be doing. So the next thing we're going to talk about is thinning our seedlings. So to start off, in a perfect world, every seed that we sow or plant would germinate. But that's not the case. That really isn't. Not every seed will germinate. For multiple reasons. There could be issues with the seed, the genetics of the seed. There could be water issues, sunlight, depth of seed. But regardless, the fact is not every seed that we plant grows. So what we normally end up doing is planting 2 to 3 seeds per cell, per container in this case, and we'll almost always have one that grows. In some instances, for whatever reason, there might be a defect with the packaging of the seeds and none of the seeds will grow. In that case, that is completely out of our hands. But what I'm going to show you today is how to properly thin your plants or your pots, getting them ready to grow for the gardens and the reasons behind them. So today what I'm going to be showing you is we're going to be thinning out some plants that we've been growing indoors here. We had to start them early. They have a longer growing season than what our growing season allows where we are. We do have a short window where we can grow where we are. We're Zone 5B, which is Central Ontario, Northern Ontario, and we have to start stuff inside, and that's all there is to it. Now, some of the things that you're going to direct sow out outdoors, we're going to do the same practices outdoors. It's going to be the exact same thing. It's just it's going to be in a long plant bed, and we're going to take the same thinning processes. So anyways, the importance of doing this, if we were just to let these two guys, as you can see, I got a small one and I got a big one. The big one's centered quite nicely in the cell. This guy got off the side a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the big one grow. He's going to be the dominant plant, or she, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be the dominant plant. This is going to be the plant that grows taller and stronger, and it started sooner. We can't just go ahead ripping this out. If we rip this out, we just pluck it out with our fingers, what can happen is the root system is intertwined and we could damage the root system. It's very fragile at this point of these little seedlings. So what we're going to do is, I have a proper set of pruners here. You could use a sharp, small set of scissors, anything. These guys are so small. And what we're going to do is we're just going to simply snip them off. That's it. That is called thinning our plants out. It's a common practice, and now this guy is going to be allowed to grow, or she, and become a great tall eggplant with no eggs, I think. So I'd like to show you guys another example of what we're doing and why. This is celery, and if anybody's planted celery before, they are incredibly tiny seeds, and it is almost impossible to put just one seed into one pot. So in this case, it looks like we have 2, maybe 3 celery plants growing. So the same purpose, or the same process, we can see this is our dominant plant. These other two are not as strong, and they're getting beaten out by the more dominant plant. Same thing, we're just going to snip them off at soil level. Don't rip them out, as mentioned. And we're going to let this celery plant grow into a ginormous celery that we're going to eat, obviously. We're going to do something with it. I don't know what it is yet. Now, other important things are, when are you going to, or when do you determine when it is an appropriate time to thin out your plants? I like to get them so you can see which one's going to be dominant. Pot placing or cell placing is also very important to me. I might choose a little bit less dominant plant if it's centered in the pot for a multiple of reasons. It's easier for the root growth to go around the pot and fill out. If you're on the side, sometimes the roots get balled up on the side of the pot. So it's kind of your call, to be honest with you. Like I said, I try to get the strongest, most central to the center of the pot plant, and I select that plant as the one that I'm going to use to grow up into a full mature plant. So what I have here is a tray of jalapeno peppers. They're 3-inch pots, or 3-inch cells. Trying to see underneath if we have any roots coming through yet. We don't. They are a little dry. I need to get to watering them. But this here is a prime example of 2 plants in 1 cell. And I've left a couple of these. I've already thinned out a few of these because it has happened, but I wanted to leave some so you guys could see. Now in this case, they're both centered. They're both strong plants. This one here is hard to see maybe on the camera, has a little bit stronger stalk on it. So we're gonna go ahead and remove it at the base. Do not pull it out, remove it, and then we have 1 single plant growing. Now the thing is, you want to do this, you don't want to not do this, let's put it that way. They're going to crowd each other out. You're not going to have, if you had those 2 growing, let's put it this way, into a full mature plant, you're going to have less fruit or less vegetables that come off of this than you would a single plant. They're not going to be as full, they're going to crowd each other out, and this is the utmost important step. It is sad to let your little friends go. When we sow carrots out in the garden, there's so many close together and you feel that cutting them out, but you have to, okay? It's very important. So make sure you thin out. Make sure you do it when they're about this size, 2 to 3 inches. When you can see there's a predominant leader, that's when you want to thin them out. Remember, try to get the ones that are centered in the middle of the pot. It always helps if you can. And good luck to everybody. Just a little trick for you.